And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC Evening News, and our top story tonight. A father and son were shot when a gunman held up Bab's Mini Mart in Darrells Road, Christchurch this afternoon. The victims are Stephen Babb of St. Matthias, who owns the business, and his son Dwight of Britton Hill, St. Michael. The incident occurred here around 1. Residents in the area say they heard 3 to 4 gunshots. Public Relations Officer Inspector David Welch gives more details about the injuries and the robbery.
First person is Stephen Babb of St. Matthias. He received a gunshot injury to his forearm, right forearm. The other person is Dwight Babb of Britton Hill. He received a gunshot injury to his upper left back. He's the more serious of the two. As it stands right now, the injuries are not life-threatening. As I said, one person entered the mini mart. The assailant was dressed in blue overalls, a scarf, and had on shades.
Meantime, Crime Prevention Officer Stephen Griffith is asking business owners to secure their premises, especially at this time.
What we are saying to business owners is that in the heightening of the Christmas period, there's more cash on premises in most businesses at particular times. So they must ensure that their handling procedures are right, that they do not be moving cash in predictable ways so that people can understand and follow a practice and then hence create a robbery or plan for a robbery at the particular location.
More new Barbados Labour Party candidates could soon be coming to the fore. Opposition leader Mia Motley made the suggestion as she endorsed Tatelia Colin Jordan as the candidate to contest the next general election on a BLP ticket in St. Peter. Speaking to supporters last night at the Alexandra School, she said there will be new blood as the party prepares for the future.
In building for the future, there will also be new candidates in the mix, of which Colin Jordan, thanks to you, the people of St. Peter, represents but the first tonight. So that what you will see is that combination and blend as we go forward. And I look forward across the party, now that the National Council has settled the approach that we should take, to being able to welcome others.
Both Ms. Motley and new candidate for St. Peter Colin Jordan praised Mr. Arthur for his service to country, party and constituency. Mr. Jordan also thanked Mr. Arthur for supporting him as his successor.
I also wish to thank him for his unhesitating support when my name was broached with him as someone who could fill his shoes. And I want to thank him for his guidance and for quietly giving me, over almost the last 2 years, many opportunities to act on his behalf and to represent him within the constituency.
Mr. Jordan was nominated uncontested by Richard Arthur, the brother of St. Peter MP and the former Prime Minister. Linda Goodrich seconded the nomination. And we're also hearing that former Prime Minister Owen Arthur has been hospitalized. However, he should be released by tomorrow. That's according to his brother Richard, who gave BLP supporters an update on his condition. According to him, Mr. Arthur injured his foot while in his garden.
Owen is a bad diabetic. So this week past, it was not getting any better. And he was admitted to hospital yesterday because it is getting, the infection is worsening. So he's at Bayview, and he's assured me by conversation this afternoon that he believes he shall be out of hospital by Tuesday.
Members of the House of Assembly will meet tomorrow, Tuesday, October 21st, following their summer recess. Prime Minister the Right Honourable Frundell Stewart will move the second reading of the Public Accounts Committee Repeal Bill 2014 and the second reading of the Financial Management and Audit Amendment Bill 2014. Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs Christopher Sinclair is slated to move the second reading of the Customs Amendment Bill 2013 and also the second reading of the Excise Tax Amendment Bill 2013. Additionally, Minister of Education Ronald Jones is expected to move the first reading of the Education Amendment Bill 2014. Well, Barbados has joined the world in paying tribute to a Jamaican reggae legend. 69-year-old John Holt, who had been battling ill health for some time, passed away at a London hospital yesterday evening. Two local promoters say Holt had a big fan base right here on the island, and Shane Seeley has the story.
Never want to love with anyone but you.
It's no secret that Jamaican reggae legend John Holt was a crowd favorite here in Barbados, performing 7 out of 10 times at the Vintage Reggae Show, the most for any artist at that event. Now the producers today paid tribute to the legend.
It was not only business, according to FAS Director Freddie Hill.
John Holt come to me like a brother, a mentor, in the reggae fraternity. And anytime you see, John Holt just wasn't an artist that I book for sure. John Holt was like a friend. And anytime you see me go to Jamaica, I used to go to John Holt. And he had a big veranda that me and him used to go in. I used to sit down. I used to talk about times, the old times in his past and the shows he's done, Because as I say, he was a vintage legend.
Al Jilks remembers a conversation he had with Holt backstage at the Vintage Reggae Show last year.
At the time I didn't know that he was ailing, he didn't show any signs of it. And I told him that next year, which was this year, was the celebration of our 10th year of the festival. And I wanted him to be back in Barbados for Vintage Reggae. And he immediately said, Al, what you want me to do, I will do, no matter what. Not knowing that at that time, when he came this year, that would be the last time anybody in Barbados would be seen on stage one of the greatest reggae singers that the Caribbean has ever known.
And Mr. Jilks says they will be paying further tribute to the reggae superstar.
Well, more than likely, I have not discussed it yet with partners, but more than likely, and I can say likely, it's likely that he will be recognized, his contribution will be recognized at the upcoming Hennessy Artistry. But for sure, and I'm sure I have everybody's consent for this, next year's vintage will be dedicated to the memory of John Holt.
She's like fire burning in my soul.
Shane Seeley, CBC News.
Well, we'll have more news ahead in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Do you believe local businesses are doing enough to secure their premises? Text yes or no to short code 811, the result at the end of the news.
With community, with humanity, feeling the rhythm, hearing the rhyme, moving to the beat of the time. Goddard Enterprises giving back, proud to be giving back, caring and sharing and selling and giving back across the region.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
The word chikungunya means that which contorts or bends up. Protect yourself from chikungunya by following these tips. Wear light-colored long pants and shirts when outdoors. Use insect repellent. Sleep under a bed net. Spray indoors with insecticide to kill mosquitoes. Use the air conditioner. Symptoms of chikungunya begin 3 to 7 days after being bitten by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. These include sudden fever, muscle, joint pain, or headaches. If you believe you may have chikungunya, do not take aspirin and seek medical attention.
There's some concern tonight about vagrants who might be making abandoned structures their homes. It comes following a recent house fire in the city, and out of concern for their safety, members of the public are being told that if they see vagrants in these buildings, to direct them to the Barbados Vagrants and Homeless Society. This advice from Director of the Society, Kimar Safri. He says the Society will be launching a community partnership program to help the homeless.
More so bring awareness, not protection, to the general public living in those areas where vagrants are situated, that instead of not helping them, the little you do can do a lot for them, whether it is through the community partnership for homelessness or whatever. And these programs are proven successful. We've trained all over the world to just receive these programs so that we can benefit our country, and we want that we want that the country and the public utilize everything that we have provided for them.
Mr. Safri says the vagrants can soon look forward to additional shelter by the end of this year.
We are now looking to open by December our own shelter here, a 24-hour shelter right here at the office, for them to come and rest themselves and sleep at any time. So that means that it would alleviate a lot of the homeless and vagrant persons going to abandoned buildings.
The Ministry of Education wants more schools to embrace its school's positive behavior management program. The initiative has been rolled out fully across 7 secondary schools. Others have implemented it but are targeting specific age groups. The ministry hosted a workshop this morning at UN House where a number of teachers were sensitized about the program. Education officer in the secondary section, Kayleen Kelman-Holder, says it's hoped all 22 public and the private secondary schools will be on board by the end of next year.
All schools have been sensitized. They know about the program, but 7 schools are fully on board. They have their mantras. They have all the different tenets. The workshop here today is actually geared towards ensuring that all the schools get to the same level of implementation as those 7 other schools. Schools such as the St. Leonard's Boys School, Seventh-day Adventist School, Queen's College has recently come on board, the St. Michael's School. Who else? We've also got Grantley Adams, the Alene School. So those are some of the schools, Springer Memorial, how could I forget that? Those are some of the schools that are really far along in terms of their implementation process.
Ms. Kelman-Holder says schools have reported numerous successes since introducing the program.
The St. Leonard's Boys School, they came on board. They were kind of like the pilot school. And every time we go to the school, there are persons who are recognizing, well, we didn't realize that this was what the program was about. Because it's called School's Positive Behavior Management Program, persons think it's just about behavior, but it's not. As I mentioned, it's based on 3 principles. I mentioned student-centeredness, democratic participation is one, inclusiveness is another. So really and truly, if you focus just on the behavior, you're tended to think, well, if my school doesn't really have a serious behavioral challenge, then of course I don't need it.
An agriculture official wants Barbadian students to eat and grow their own foods. This comes from Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, who spoke to students of the Gordon Walters Primary School. He explained why agriculture is necessary to Barbados.
Don't matter what people tell you, agriculture is extremely important for the survival of our nation. Okay? The reason why we are able to call ourselves Barbadians and we don't have to run any place else to go and live is because of the fact we have a strong and healthy nation that can, at least to some extent, feed itself.
He also encouraged them to appreciate local foods.
But you don't have to eat all of those things overseas to be healthy. And sometimes appreciate that the things that are right around you are the things that you should be most likely consuming. You understand the point I'm making? The things that you see in your garden growing are the things that you should be consuming.
The public got a chance to meet members of the Royal Barbados Police Force. their instruments today. That's because the band hosted an open day at its Station Hill headquarters in recognition of its 125th anniversary. The talented members displayed not only their skills, but the many instruments they play. Drum Major Station Sergeant David Carrington says the band, which has just over 50 members, has been very fortunate to be constantly performing year-round.
Their engagements all through from January to December, it never stopped, and we are more or less honored to to be carrying out these functions, because it's really and truly our duty to make sure that we entertain the people of Barbados and give back to the country as a whole.
Well, regional news is next, but first a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Do you believe local businesses are doing enough to secure their premises? Text yes or no to short code 8111. The result at the end of the news. And you can also follow us on Twitter at CBC_Barbados and on our Facebook page, CBC News Barbados.